Okay, Charles, so you heard what April had to say. What did you think?
Well, number one, I wasn't sure either whether or not he was hearing the question or whether or not he simply didn't know the acronym and he didn't know what CBC was when you say CBC. And as April said, like maybe he's new, but you're the president. I'm sorry, you don't get a break. There's no on-the-job training for the president of the United States. If you make a mistake and you're the president, you're gonna get criticized for it. That you're gonna have to take that one. Number two, though, is there is an impulse in the man that wants to be defensive and to diminish people as they speak. So you watched as she was trying to have the question, and she couldn't get it out because he wanted to be defensive and to interrupt. And when he's doing that, the natural person comes out, and it really does talk down to you. And he was talking down to her and assuming that she's black and she must know the other black people and go set up the meeting. If you want me to do it, then you said. I mean, it's really, really dismissive. And that is part of what was happening throughout the entire press conference. And I think that character flaw is something that Americans should be worried about.
Paris, why on earth would the president ask April Ryan if she was friends with the CBC and wanted to set up a meeting for him? That's not her job.
Well, the president knows who April Ryan is. He knows what her background is, and he knows how many relationships that she has on the Hill. He knows, I know, you know, April Ryan knows personally every single member of the CBC. And so I think, back to the earlier point, the president might have not heard her correctly. She said CBC, he might have heard CDC. That's why she clarified exactly what she meant by CBC, which was Congressional Black Caucus. But the thing I want to point out to your viewers, Don, is the fact that the CBC letter that they tweeted out to the president was addressed to the president-elect, sent on January 19th, the day before the inauguration, sent to the transition office. Point two is, in that letter, they never asked for a meeting with the president. And point three, the tone and the diction used in the letter was not very inviting to me. And so if they wanted a meeting, they should have asked for a meeting.
To my question,
and they did not do that.
Why would he ask her to set up a meeting with the CBC? Because if you're the president of the United States, you call and say, Kellyanne, Mr. Bannon, Mr. whoever or Miss whoever, this is the president, get me on the phone with such and such, get me a meeting with such and such. Why would you have to do that with a black reporter and not a member of your own staff or whoever is Black Outreach U or whomever at the White House? Why couldn't he go through them instead of a reporter at a impromptu press conference?
Well, I think it's because the president knew that April was sort of giving him an on-the-spot treatment. April knows that the president reached out to
Paris.
Cummings.
Be
She
for
knows
real.
that during the listening session that I attended, that he mentioned that he wanted to set up a meeting and turned to his aides and said, is that meeting set up?
Isn't a press conference an on-the-spot treatment by every single reporter? And not just
Sure. And if you want to make this into a racial thing, Don, I don't think that it is. I
think
think the tone of April's line of questioning was what made him say, well, if it's such a big deal and you think it's something I should do, set it up. And then he said, I'd love to meet with them. Do you know them? Set it up. Because he knows that she knows them.
Okay.
And he knows the type of why that was asked. Why wasn't the question asked, Mr. President, can you talk about the HBCU meeting that you're having at the White House with over 60 to 70 HBCU presidents coming to town?
Yeah.
Mr. President, why didn't April ask about the CBC being upset that Congressman Mark Walker,
I'm
the
not
Republican...
I'm not April, but I did watch the exchange, and I thought it was a pretty cordial exchange. They laughed with each other. It didn't seem like she was trying to, it wasn't a gotcha question. There was back and forth. I don't think that she had any tone that was any different than any other reporter.
Forget about the tone question. Literally forget about it. You are the president of the United States. Leadership demands that you meet with people who may be critical of you. This president was the person who brought up Frederick Douglass. Do you understand how Frederick Douglass treated Abraham Lincoln before they actually met and Lincoln still had him into the White House? Frederick Douglass called Abraham Lincoln an excellent slave hound. When Frederick Douglass met with black leaders in Chicago, Frederick Douglass said about that meeting that this man seems to want to continuously make himself look silly. He was a blistering critic of Abraham Lincoln, and Lincoln still invited him into the White House because he realized that Frederick Douglass had something that he needed. He needed to be able to reach out to black people, particularly black soldiers during the Civil War, when Frederick Douglass was a big proponent of drawing him in. So this idea of like, oh, he hurt my feelings and the tone of the letter wasn't right, or April Ryan's tone wasn't right when she was asking a question. Get over that. You're the president. And additionally, one more second. And additionally, this idea that people keep saying we're talking about his base. Your base when you're the president
Paris,
is the whole country.
Go ahead, Paris. I got to go though. Hurry, please.
At the end of the day, the president understands who he is. He is the president of all people. He actually said, I would love to meet with the CBC, and he wants to meet with the CBC. The president is going to meet with HBCU college presidents. The president has already had a phone call with Congressman Cummings and said we have more alike than we have that we disagree on, especially on jobs and infrastructure. He understands this, and he will meet with people of all backgrounds. The notion that he won't is inaccurate.
It didn't happen until today, though, until there was an uproar about it. But we'll be back. Thank you.
Exactly.